Welcome back to my channel Lumsy Sews. In this video I will show you how to cut cowl bubu gown style with v-neck. It's a simple tutorial. Let's start with the tutorial. I'll be using 3 yards of fabric to make this. Here I have 1.5 yards of this adire, silk adire, and also 1.5 yard of satin fabric, or you can use Duchess, anyone is okay, or even crepe. So I'm going to place it like this, folded into 4 as you can see. I'll go ahead and pin it down because the fabric is slippery so that it doesn't move when I'm cutting it. So what I have here on fold is 27 inches, and then the length I'm using is 45 inches. I'm using 42 plus 3 inches for joining allowance and sewing hemming allowance. So here I'm going to mark a straight line that I'm going to start from. I came down by 1 inch from the edge. For the neck width I'm using 3.5 inches, and then the neck depth I'm using for the back is 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect this like this. Then I'm going to divide shoulder divided by 2. I have 8.5. I'm going to mark it here. From here I'm going to come down 1 inch, and I will connect the neckline to the shoulder line, and I will extend it to the sleeve length. I'm using 27 inches. I use 27 inches for all sizes. Next, from here I'm going to take 36 inches. This is where the cowl bubu cowl will start from. So here I'm going to square this line out. This is where I'll start making the design for the cowl design. So on this place I'm going to take 13.5 inches. I use this for sizes 8 to 18. I'll go ahead and connect this straight to the hem. Then on the side seam we are going to be marking the sleeve opening and the cowl design. Here I'm going to come down 14 inches for the round sleeve, and then I'm going to connect this like this to make the cowl design. I hope you can notice the way I'm drawing the cowl neck design, not like this. If you make this, it will give it a cow ear design, not a cow neck design. So I'm going to make it like this and cut out from here 1/2 inch. If you're making this for a plus size, you can use 15 inches at the hem and make your wideness, the sleeve length, wider. Next I'll shift this like this so that I'll be able to cut out the shoulder. Remember, you can see the shoulder I added 1/2 inch when I'm cutting it. Next I'm going to cut the neckline. I also added 1/4 inch for sewing allowance on the neckline. I'll go ahead and pin this off, and I will have the front. So on the front I'm going to come down 12 inches. We are making a v-neck design, and here I'm going to come in 2 inches. This is because I am going to be adding a placket to this place. So a placket is going to take position of these 2 inches that I'm cutting off. I'll go ahead and connect this to the shoulder and connect it straight like this. If you don't want your v-neck to drop like mine, you can make yours to be like 11 inches. 11 inches is most. Don't do 9 inches. 9 inches will be too choked up. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. I hope you can notice the way the neckline runs smoothly. There's no sharp edge. So I'll go ahead and add the placket. I have here 5 inches. I'll fold it into 2 and iron it, and then I'm going to attach it here. So let me iron it and show you the next thing to do. This is it after ironing it. I made a crease so that I know where the center would be. So I'm going to place this right side facing together, the 2 plackets right side facing together, and from the top I'm going to come down 12 inches, the length of the v-neck I made in front, and then I'm going to sew in the middle using the crease that I made. So we are going to have a slit opening in front, right? I'm going to also take from the beginning down to 36 inches. This is where my slit will start from. So I'm going to sew this from 12 inches down to this 13 inches and leave the other side opening. This is it after sewing it. See this upper side and see the lower part. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to place this in front, right side facing together. I'll go ahead and sew this. But guys, when you're sewing this, you're going to stop somewhere, just anywhere. Don't sew it to the big ending. I'll show you what I mean. I'll go ahead and do it to the other side. So this is it after sewing it. That's the neckline. As you can see, the v-neck came out very neat. Then the lower part, if you notice, I didn't sew it to the end. That is because we need to hem it before we do that. I'll go ahead and make facing for the back. I've added interfacing. I use hair stay for this. You can use anything. I'll place this under like this. I'm just trying to cut out facing for the back. You can use bias for the back, but I like to use facing. Facing comes out neater than using bias. Right side facing together, I'll go to my machine now and I'm going to place this like this, and first of all sew the neckline. First of all, you're going to iron the lower parts. After doing that, you sew here. So I'm going to iron this place first before I sew it. This is it after sewing it. As you can see, I ironed the lower part ½ inch in before I sew it. So the next thing we're going to do is to sew the shoulder. I'm going to place the front part of the dress to it like this, and use that facing to cover it up and sew it. That's why I like to use facing for the back, as long as it's not a built up neck collar. So I'm going to go to my machine now and sew ½ inch here. I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll go to my machine and I'm going to sew it at the tip here. Because I've ironed it, is very easy. Make sure you overlock this before you do that. Next, we are going to sew the side seam. So I'm going to place the side seam right side facing together like this, and I'm going to sew ½ inch away. So align it properly. You can pin it if you want to. You sew this place ½ inch, and then at the hem line I'm going to hem the lower part like this. And also for the sleeve, I'm going to hem this 2 times because we're going to add elastic here. So you're going to leave a space where you're going to add elastic. So I have hemmed the sleeve and I've also hemmed the facing. Also the lower part, I've also hemmed the place too. I'm going to insert elastic into the elastic space that I have made. Here I have my elastic, and what I have here is 14 inches, but this is not the final length I'm using. You're going to take around your elbow. That's where the sleeve will stop. Whatever that will give you, use it as the final length. Finally, I'm going to use 10 inches because that will be okay for my sleeve. I don't want it to be too tight. So I'll go ahead and pass this. Make sure you use your pins to secure this here before you continue with the elastic passing. So I'll go ahead and pass this elastic and stitch it. Next, we are going to finish up the hem. Remember, the hem is still remaining, so I've hemmed this. Next thing I'm going to do is to place this, turn it like this as you're seeing me do, and place right side facing together and sew the lower part of the placket like this. I will turn it over that way and finish hemming it. So guys, we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.